Hello viewers, it's Oliver here again, as you can see, and I'm here to do another vlog type thing. Not really a vlog, I mean yes it's a vlog because I'm sitting here talking to a computer screen, you can see me, I can't see you, sort of dealy. But I'm going to try to do a more of a series, like I know I say this every time, but I'm really going to do it this time. Try to do more of a series with certain, like, well, I'll lay out the design the way this episode's going to go. So first, for these, I don't know what exactly I'm going to call them yet, but we're going to start with, I'm going to talk about a certain topic for a couple minutes or so, 5 minutes, whatever. Then I'm going to do a top 10 list. So every episode I'm going to talk about a subject, maybe two, couple things, talk about those for a while, and then I will do a top 10 list. And every time before I do an episode, I will post a poll on the Magwoo Twitter so you guys can vote for what top 10 list you want me to do. I did that and the results were in. There's a tie, but I had somebody do a tie break for me, so let's get started. So my topic today is going to be the almost, for me, this is all personal, of course. None of this is like based upon facts and whatnot. The fall off of Call of Duty multiplayer for me. Those who've been here watching these videos for a while, you can even go back, look on our channel. We started with Uncharted 2 gameplay, but then we quickly moved on to Black Ops, the original Black Ops. That game, me and Jake played hundreds of hours on. That was our middle school defining game, basically. Was it middle school? It might have been 8th grade. And I don't even remember what year it was, to be honest. But I loved that game. I played so much of it. Yeah, I would complain about this, that, and the other. I'd complain about lag. I'd complain about guns. I'd complain about Ghost. I'd complain about Second Chance. I'd complain about this, that, and the other. I'd find everything to complain about, but I played it because it still was something about it made it fun. And after that, sorry, I think I got something in my eye. After that, Modern Warfare 3 came out, and I played a lot of Modern Warfare 3. So did Jake. But I played it. I enjoyed it. In that game, I focused more on getting the golden guns. That was my driving force to play the game. And it wasn't so much me playing the game just because I enjoyed the game. It was me playing the game because I was going for the golden guns. There was an objective, something to work towards. So that kind of got me through Modern Warfare 3. After that came Black Ops 2. Bought it. Did not like it. Excuse me. I played very little of Black Ops 2. I really didn't enjoy it very much at all. So I don't have much experience with it, so I don't even know what exactly about it I didn't like. I think I was just getting tired of the Call of Duty scene at that time. And then after that came Call of Duty Ghosts, if I remember correctly. Ghost, and I didn't buy that one at all. I think that's when I was really into Battlefield 3, so I had no reason to buy another Call of Duty since I was spending all my time playing that FPS game instead. Then came Advanced Warfare. I didn't buy that for a while, and then I decided to download it. I bought it and downloaded it. And now that was a big shift in Call of Duty with all the like super jumping around, flying around, But the maps were built for it. It was decent, but again, it was just, I couldn't really get into it. There's nothing about the game that drew me back, except the fact that it was, Call of Duty. And then now, Black Ops 3 comes out, and again, it's just jumping around, which I'm not really a fan of. I like the old just run on the ground, vault over things, that's it. And I played Black Ops 3 for a while. I played a lot for like 2 weeks. There's a period of 2 weeks where I just played it all the time, every chance I got. And I was going for achievements and golden guns and outfits for the different specialists. That's what they're. And that's what was driving me. And in this game as well, just kind of like how I mentioned Modern Warfare 3, I was going for the golden guns. It was just driving me to, I just wanted to get these things and get the call signs, get the emblem, I mean all this stuff. And eventually I was just getting so frustrated with the game. It wasn't enjoyable, the actual base game. There are so many things that just drove me nuts. So it got to a point where I was just like, I'm just not going to play this game unless I've got friends online that want to play it. Then I'll play it, because then it's more of a social experience than it is a straight up gaming experience. So I don't think I'm going to get another Call of Duty. I mean, I've said this God knows how many times, but it's just to the point where it's just they totally have to revamp everything about it, and they're not ever going to do that. They've got a system there. They make as much money as any game out there, any gaming franchise out there. Why would they change it? They've got no reason to. So I guess I kind of went through my history with it and what the little things were. But I mean, currently Black Ops 3, like I said, the jumping around, it's just ridiculous. I don't think it's necessary, and I think it was implemented better in Advanced Warfare, not the actual movement. I like the movement better in Black Ops 3, but the maps in Black Ops 3 were not designed for all this jumping. There's a lot of places that you can jump higher than, but you can't get onto, and I don't think I think that was a really bad idea. I think they needed to make these maps a lot more vertical. I mean, it doesn't have the flow. The maps don't have the flow because there's all these different I don't remember. Breach maybe is the name of the map. I don't remember the names of the map. But it's on like rooftops, and it's got this little tiny building in the middle. On Domination, it's where B flag is, and like little tiny B flag fits perfectly inside. I don't remember the name, but on both ends, and then the middle's open, and then on both ends there's like two stories you can be on, and you can overlook from the top, and there's doorways you run out in the bottom. That map would have been great for, say, Black Ops 1, when you don't have this jumping stuff. But now when you have this jumping stuff, you can run through on the walls the different ways. Something about it, like I like the map. That's one of my favorite maps in the game, but for some reason it just doesn't have the flow. It seems like there's certain times when it takes super long to go this way, super long to go that way. And there's other times where I can't put my finger on it. That's the thing. And that's kind of what frustrates me is the fact that I can't just be like, this is what's wrong, change this please. Not that they change anything because of what I say anyways. But that's one of the biggest things that drives me nuts with Black Ops 3, as well as the guns aren't really balanced. I mean, I haven't played it in a while, but that's every game. You're never going to have a game where all the guns are balanced. I don't like a lot of the perks. I've grown to hate kill streaks in first-person shooters. I think they're not necessary. I think the best games, look at the old Call of Duties, limited score streaks, limited kill streaks, like COD 4, World at War. Those are considered the better Call of Duties, multiplayer-wise. And they had the limited kill streaks. You look at games now like Counter-Strike, Global Offensive, and yes, that's a whole different kind of first-person shooter, way more competitive. No kill streaks. You look at Battlefield games, no kill streaks. You look at Rainbow Six Siege that just came out, no kill streaks. A lot of these more successful games all of a sudden aren't having kill streaks, and I agree with it. I don't think kill streaks are necessary, but that's my opinion. I'm growing less fond of arcade shooters, and I'm liking more of the simulation, closer. I don't know, because simulation's a hard word to use. I'm not playing an actual first-person shooter simulation, but I think you guys understand what I'm trying to get at there. And that's that's really there's multiple things, but that kind of sums up what's driving me nuts with Call of Duty multiplayer at this time. So now we're going to move on to the next segment. Sorry if I'm looking down. I wrote it down on my phone so I don't forget. The list that is. So the top 10 that you guys chose for me to do, it was actually split 50-50 between top 10 PS3 games and top 10 multiplayer maps. But I had my roommate choose one, so he broke the tie. He chose games. So we're going to start with Number 10. Number 10, a lot of people will disagree with this one probably. A lot of people didn't really like this one. They thought it didn't live up to expectations, didn't live up to the hype. Homefront. For those of you that played it, it was a very unique story for a first-person shooter at the time. The graphics, the coloring, everything looked really nice, especially for when it came out. It had this slightly difference about it. And then this is one of the few games actually I like the kill streaks in, but one of the things, the multiplayer mode for it was ahead of its time. Call of Duty took a lot of the things that Homefront did in its multiplayer and implemented them in their games. Score streaks instead of kill streaks was one of the big ones. The little drones that you can drive around, fly around, those were in Homefront. It was ahead of its time, really. And that's one of the reasons I really liked it. That and the pink camo in the multiplayer. It had pink camo before Call of Duty did. Remember that. Number 9, I have down Call of Duty Black Ops. Another first-person shooter I've been talking about a lot this video, so I won't go into too much depth. But I didn't touch on the zombies mode in Black Ops. That's another reason it's on the list. Great. I like Black Ops Zombies. Probably out of all the Call of Duties, it's the best co-op mode for sure. Number 8, I have Mass Effect 3. I actually, last year, during the winter, I went to GameStop, was looking around. I don't even remember if it was GameStop. It was some gaming store, and I was looking around, and I saw Mass Effect, the trilogy. And I was like, I know these games are supposed to be good, so I bought it. And those games, man, the whole series combined, amazing. One of the best gaming stories you can have, especially on that generation of consoles. If you haven't played them, I recommend it. Mass Effect 3 was one of the great things about the Mass Effect games were the different things you choose cause completely different stories, really. And it was really neat. So we'll go on to number 7. Number 7 is another third installment in a series. It was Uncharted 3. Uncharted 3, probably my favorite series of games. Uncharted 1, Uncharted 2, Uncharted 3, and then Uncharted 4 is coming out. I already got it pre-ordered. Uncharted 3 would have been higher if it would have kept my biggest knock on it. Don't get me wrong, the story for Uncharted 3, the single player, amazing. If you haven't picked it up, you pick up the Uncharted collection for PS4. You can play all 3 of them, and then get Uncharted for PS4, and then get Uncharted 4 when it comes out. The biggest knock on this game for me was the beta. When I played the beta for the multiplayer, it was wonderful. I was like, oh, this is what I wanted in a sequel to Uncharted 2 for multiplayer. And then the game comes out, and the multiplayer just is completely different. It doesn't feel the same. It doesn't act. It doesn't work the same. Nothing was the same about it. And that put a sour taste in my mouth. But I couldn't knock it farther than 7th place. Number 6, Red Dead Redemption. This is a game that'd probably be higher on Jake's list. He played it a crap ton. I would just run around and do the randomest things, honestly. But that's what Rockstar games do. That's their strong suit is. You can just run around and do whatever you want. The story in it, amazing. Everything, and it was another one of those games. Now I don't know if it was so much ahead of its time. It was just it defined its time. It defined the PS4. It defined PS3. It defined that generation of consoles as one of the best games you could possibly have. Also, the music in it was great. The atmosphere was really good. Number 5, Battlefield 3. I was talking about this one earlier. It's actually the highest first-person shooter multiplayer game, that I have on this list. Battlefield 3 had, to me, the perfect combination of vehicles, infantry, competitiveness, yet you can still do whatever you want, and there's so many options when it came to guns and different setups for your classes. Battlefield 4 just didn't do it for me, and if I put Battlefield 4 on a list, it would be a PS4 list because PS3 version wasn't very good, to be honest, multiplayer-wise. I was never a big fan of the stories for either Call of Duty or Black Ops, or Call of Duty or Battlefield, excuse me. So I'm basing this basically off the multiplayer mode. I played hours upon hours upon hours back when we were with Two Spawn and with all those guys. Great time, just a great time. Number 4, I have Mass Effect 2. The best story out of the 3 games. It had the best story, the best final mission for sure. It's legendary basically for its final mission. Just hard to beat. Hard to beat. Somehow I found 3 games to beat it, so that kind of speaks to the depth of the games on the PS4. But just great game. Number 3, I have The Last of Us. Most people have this as one of the top 2 games, if not the number 1 game for PS4. And don't get me wrong, this game was amazing. Probably the best story in a game I've ever played. It felt like a movie. It just felt like everything about it was just smooth, and that's hard to replicate. Again, it kind of took advantage of this whole zombie. It kind of fell in. Everybody, The Walking Dead's out. Everybody's fascinated by the whole zombie thing, and it kind of came out at the perfect time for that. So it took advantage of that. It was just amazing. Naughty Dog, just amazing at making games, man. I've yet to find a developer I can trust more to make a good game every time than them. Number 2, Skyrim. Elder Scrolls V, Skyrim. It almost speaks for itself. I mean, people are still playing it. It's still one of the most popular games out there, and it came out in, 2011? 5 years ago? Just, it speaks for itself. It's the best action role-playing game of its generation, for sure, hands down. Of course, dragons helps out. Who doesn't want to kill dragons and absorb their souls? Like, come on. Just the scope of the game was amazing. Getting all your talents and your skills up. I mean, I had multiple characters that I was 100 level smith on. I love smithing in that game for some reason. That was my favorite, but just you could spend hours on there, and you could make different characters and do different things. You could be one-handed with a shield in one playthrough. You could be a mage in another one. You could focus on restoration and two-handed or something. You could just do any combination of stuff. Replay value was amazing. So now I'm going to do some honorable mentions before I get to number 1. I had to throw in Uncharted, the first one, and the first Mass Effect, because those were still great games, even if they weren't in the top 10. Modern Warfare 3, I really did enjoy, so I had to throw it in there. And then one that was only multiplayer, actually, and was not really a AAA release at all, but Gotham City Imposters, great game. You can't play it anymore because the servers got shut down last year or 2 years ago. Great game though. I wish I could still play it. It was just comical, fun. It was one of those games that you didn't even care if it was balanced or not, just because it was fun to play. Everything about it was just fun. Fun is the only word I can use for it. But that brings us to number 1. For those of you that know anything about me, you know the answer to this one. It is Uncharted 2: Among Thieves. Not the first game I got for the PS3, but the best game by far. It was one of the first games I got. I played through the story at least 5 times. I've played tens of hours, if not hundreds of hours, on multiplayer. And then you play back the missions with the different, turn zero gravity on, do this, do that. Just replay value is really good for a game of that type of a story-based game, story-based third-person shooter. The replay value is still there. Multiplayer was amazing. That's what introduced me really to online multiplayer games. So there's a bit of nostalgia there, but it still had one of the best stories, if not the best story of any PS3 game I played. So that about wraps it up. Keep your eyes out for a poll on the Magwoo's Twitter. I'll link in the description. And one last thing I always want to do, I just thought of this because I really like music. At the end of every episode, I'm going to throw in a song of the day. song of the week, whatever. For the first one, we're going to go with, I got a little list here, so it's a little bit of a cheat sheet. But we're going to go with one of the songs I've really been enjoying lately, which is called First by the Cold War Kids. I'll link the video, the music video for it in the description. I'll link our Twitter in the description and whatnot. And keep an eye out, vote on the poll for the next top 10. And in the next episode, I will talk about Far Cry Primal, which I have pre-ordered and comes out tomorrow. I'm recording this on a Monday. Comes out tomorrow or tonight at midnight, I guess. So I'll update you guys on what that's like, if you guys should buy it, if I enjoy it. And that's all I got for you today. So I will see you guys next time.